again, beautiful people. My name is Ramen, and welcome to the Drunk Ramen Podcast, the only podcast where two dudes who don't know how to make a podcast. My name is Ramen, joined by my partner in crime, TY.
Yo, yo, yo!
And this is episode 2 of our video podcast / Spotify podcast. So we hope you guys enjoy, and let's get right into the podcast. Let's go.
All right, so what do we want to start talking about?
I kind of want to see if you have anything like stories or whatever.
Story time.
Before I get into what we're gonna
Story time.
Yeah, because what I want to do in this podcast is sort of talk about like our first experience making YouTube videos and like maybe our first sketches.
You want to start with that one?
Yes. So Tyler first had his own YouTube channel before we even launched our YouTube channel.
I've had a bunch of YouTube channels.
So we want to talk about like what got us interested in YouTube, what got us interested in wanting to make videos, and what has it been like doing this whole YouTube thing for us?
So YouTube has been a continuous on and off thing for me for like the past 8 or 9 years.
Yeah.
Over multiple different channels.
Yes.
I first actually started off YouTube on a gaming channel. If you guys didn't know that was something I thought that was something that I was gonna want to do.
Yes.
But as I progressed through it, it felt like, because video games has always been a thing that I've done to just enjoy.
Yeah.
It felt like it started to put a drag on that and make me not want to play or not want to do videos, because it kind of made me feel like it was my job. So I didn't want that.
So here's the thing about like a video gaming channel. I don't know if the situation applies for you, but if you start a gaming channel and your main focus is to play video games and commentate on it, eventually that starts to pull the enjoyment out of playing the video game.
Well, not just that, it's very difficult to commentate by yourself.
I've seen Twitch streams where like the Twitch streamers will just like not even say words half the time and make like they will just smile through the entire stream. I'm like, your job is to commentate on what's going on in the game, and if I can't connect and what's going on in the game, then what would be the point of even having a channel? Because you could just do this in your house. Like, but no, how is your channel like different from like theirs, and like why did you not like it?
It wasn't really different. It was, so if you think of Rad Brad,
yeah,
you know who that is?
I do not, but
the Rad Brad, he's a very big walkthrough YouTuber who does walkthroughs on like story based games and stuff like that. I pretty much did what he did, and I did walkthroughs on story-based games like Killzone Shadowfall, probably one of my favorite videos that I've done. And as I was going through, I started getting better and better at commentating all by myself. It's just, at a certain point, it just got to feel like it wasn't something that I wanted to do.
Yeah.
Like, when I started playing Uncharted 4, which I loved Uncharted 4.
You commentated on Uncharted 4?
I did videos on Uncharted 4. Well, I did like 2 or 3 videos on it, and then I stopped playing the game entirely for like 2 or 3 months.
I remember.
And then I came back to it later.
Was it boring when you came back to it?
But it felt like a drag. Like, I was like, every time I got on, I was like, yes, I want to play this game, but I don't feel like making a video today.
Yes.
Because I want to get my genuine reaction to the game, but at the same time, I didn't want to make the video for it. So it was very stressful for me. What are you doing?
No, I'm checking to see my hard drive is still plugged in.
Oh.
Yeah, because it just fell. So making sure everything's good, everything's straight. But yes, no, I can kind of see why that would like hinder. See, if you're going to make a YouTube channel, you have to like make one that you love. Like when you go back to it, you have to make one that you love doing. You have to make a YouTube channel that you think would appeal to other people rather than to yourself, because and I know you were like doing the gaming thing, and I wish I could check those videos out, but I'm assuming
You can. They're still up if you ever wanted to
but
check them out. But they're all live streams.
But I'm assuming like when you were making those videos, your voice was like maybe like you felt like you were getting tired of doing the same old thing. You just want
you couldn't. You could never tell when I was on my channel that I didn't enjoy doing what I did.
Yes.
You couldn't tell that I didn't enjoy it.
And that's maybe one of these days we might start a gaming channel when we have a bigger crew and like.
That's why I've been so opposed to it.
Yeah, but
because I'm gonna tell you guys one thing very important. Just because you enjoy doing something doesn't mean you'd enjoy doing that same thing
again,
either for a living or whatever. Because I mean, same thing with what my grandmother did. My grandmother makes the best fucking pumpkin pies that you could ever taste.
Well, I'm gonna go get some pumpkin pie.
But my last year she started selling them.
Oh god.
But it takes the fun out of it because you feel like you have an obligation to do it instead of just wanting to do it.
No, I can get it. When something becomes an obligation and it becomes a job, it kind of does take the fun out of it. What I have my own YouTube. When I first started YouTube, it's actually a really good story because I didn't just start YouTube. I've been online. Essentially, what I used to do online was I would just edit photos and I would just like take videos and I would just like make those videos edited so that way people can view them. But the only person that actually got me interested in doing YouTube was Tyler. TY.
Yeah.
Tell the story because it's a really good one.
It's not even really a very dramatic story or anything.
It all started with an Instagram post.
Literally, that's all it was. It started off with Instagram, and I started on Snapchat before I did Instagram. But I was like, hey, low-key feeling like creating a YouTube channel for skits and stuff like that. Anybody interested? Hit me up.
And I were like, as soon as Tyler made that post, I don't know, maybe it was like the same day. I hope it was the same day.
It's probably the same day.
I said, yeah, Tyler, I'd be interested. And then like the pieces fell in place.
Gumbo said he was interested.
Once
my cousin said he was interested. You said you were interested. I mean, we already had people saying, yeah, this would be great. I would love to do this.
But here's where it like became less about the having fun. Like we had fun with our videos.
We had a blast. But I mean, just hanging out and doing stuff that was just to mess around. And
we had fun, but the thing is, you need to know about making a sketch because our channel was primarily sketches, and Tyler can attest to this. I essentially took on the responsibility, which the only reason I wanted to take the responsibility of doing this because I needed somehow to learn how to make videos. This was primarily me learning how to make videos. It was a
testing thing. It was more of a like to see what he was capable of.
Yes, and I took on that challenge. Not to say that my editing style was shitty, but when
it kind of was in the beginning.
It was
in the beginning. It was pretty bad.
It was incredibly shitty. But one of our videos, which a lot of people do enjoy, and like I think Luke brings it up like half the time, and like his friends really enjoy it, is our band sketch. Our
Into the Mayo.
Into the Mayo, and the reason it's called Into the Mayo is because it's a reference to the episode of SpongeBob.
Is mayonnaise an instrument?
Yes, and like we don't even bring up mayo in any of the sketches in the sketch, but we were going to. But it changed. Like
yeah, everything in the sketch changed. Like this was one of the sketches we actually did over multiple days.
Yes, and like the original draft of the sketch wasn't the original sketch was a little
bad.
Different. Was bad. It
was so bad.
My god, cringe. It was so unfocused.
Oh,
the original draft.
Pretty much. You guys know how Mark was just being a total asshat in this version. Well, we had him made out to be like Doofenshmirtz, freaking evil villain of the whole thing in the original draft. It was terrible.
The original draft, which when Gio came in, It stopped becoming more about the documentary, and it became a episode of Phineas and Ferb where I pretended I was a different person playing an accent, and I went along with it. It wasn't until like Luke came in and like he
put it on track.
He put the sketch on track, and like he participated, and I kind of like to think Luke as a co-director, and like Kyler.
Luke is a great co-director. I will not lie, he is really good.
He kept our sketch on track, and it was a sketch that we filmed multiple days. Like I think it took 2 days to film every scene we needed to do. This first day went really well. We got all
the interviews done.
Yes. Oh man, the scene that I did not like, that I just wish Tyler would just stop laughing, was the basketball kiss.
Oh my gosh, that was hilarious. Well, literally, guys. Okay, so the character Jessica was a basketball with a freaking wig on it, and every freaking time we brought her up, and I would say something like, "Hey, you, Jessica, how could you do this?" And we would both we would just not stop laughing. We would just like, oh,
and it wasn't even scripted, and like it was still hilarious. It was so funny, but the thing that made Tyler break is when he said, well, you, Jessica, and then I would just go up to him and push him, and be like, "You don't talk to her like that." And then Tyler kept laughing. I'm like, God damn it, Tyler, we need to do this at once.
How many times did we have to redo that scene?
We did that 6 freaking times. I had to kiss a basketball mouth to mouth 6 times. You don't get how fucking crazy kissing a basketball is until you do it 6 times. Oh my God.
Ridiculous, I tell you.
That day was hilarious. Although, when you look at the video, it looks so good. But when we look at the video ourselves, we cringe at it.
It's so bad.
Everybody else loves the video, and I like the video. But the thing about watching yourself is watching yourself is different.
You have so much judgment towards yourself when you're watching yourself.
And that's probably primarily because when we and Tyler were doing videos, I would edit it the same night after we're done shooting. And then we'd probably do the podcast. We actually started this podcast before it's not like it's our first podcast episode, because we have 2 episodes on Spotify that were launched into this before we launched this one. And all our episodes are going to still be on Spotify, so you can listen to the other 2. But me and Tyler, what we used to do before we start the podcast is the same day we would go out we maybe get something to eat, and we watch our videos. And remember, we watched the ramen spit take one, and we watched the band one together, because in order for us to post those videos,
I wanted to make sure everything looked right before. And
I wanted to agree, because what I used to do is I would just edit the videos and post it.
I mean, you were kind of adamant about posting it before I was looking over it, but I was like, Jose, I want to look over it before you post it, make sure everything's good.
Yes. So we will watch.
Because I know there was in the ramen slurp down video that we did, that one, there was a repeat of a scene in there. You could barely. It's still there to this day. If you guys go watch that, you'll see that repeat in there.
Yeah, but it was a repeat, but it somehow did better than most of our videos on the channel. Just gonna be honest. But yeah, we will watch the videos, and it's hard to watch a video when you're in it, because you have this constant judgment of the way you talk, and I have trouble watching myself make videos when I'm in a video. Because I always constantly think, what do they think I'm stupid? What if they think I'm retarded? I'm like,
it's literally like, if you think about it this way, if you're a female doing your makeup and you're like, oh, does this look good? Does this look bad? And then you have your friend come in and it's like, it's perfectly fine. What are you like? What are you going on about?
And that was my constant realization when we ended our channel, looking back at those videos, and I love making them.
You're never going to be satisfied.
I'm never going to be satisfied, because there was always something new for me to learn in making those videos. the videos that I made, and I had to. I wasn't just editing the videos. Me and Tyler, we sort of co-produced. Me and Tyler had to keep everybody on track. We had to direct. We had to make sure everything was lined up. There were some times where like the entire video wasn't lined up, and we would just win the video. Like, remember we tried to try not to laugh video.
Yeah.
Worst video we've ever made, and it was a fun day for sure.
It was fun, but it was so cringe.
The thing about it is that we turned it into a video, and we had the camera the wrong way. We couldn't make any of us laugh. We maybe made one laugh. We couldn't even make anybody else laugh. We tried to do.
I almost escaped by the skin of my teeth, but
No,
me and Jose had to eat those peppers.
the pepper part. If I wish we would just turn that into the video instead of.
Oh my gosh! If we would have turned that into the video, we would have freaking just like, that would have been great. But
The thing about our channel is that we were like, I was watching Smosh, and like what I took from that is that we sort of copied Smosh in the way that we took the sketches and then we took the game show parts and we put them into one channel, and it never really caught on because it was so
we were
confusing.
trying to copycat so hard that it was bad.
Yes, and once one video, the band video, outweighs the rest of the videos because the rest of them are okay. Our first trailer for our channel was shitty, and I even have to admit.
Oh, that was terrible.
Because my audio.
It's a learning curve.
It's a learning curve, and this channel, I use this as a tool to edit my new videos. I never show myself on camera in any of my new edit videos because they're animated commentary videos, and I design a character around my personality so that way I can disguise my face because I don't like looking at myself on camera. I still have trouble looking at myself on camera, and that's just my struggle with it. So I designed the character, a donut, based off my personality because I'm fun and energetic, and that's why I never show my face. Maybe at this point I'll show my face, but my channel's never going to show my face.
One thing I don't think I'd ever be able to do is go up in front of a group of people and talk.
No,
Never.
No, never. No, I have trouble in certain big groups, and I have trouble meeting new people. Remember when I met your parents?
Oh my gosh, this kid went to go elbow bump my dad, and my dad's like, "What the fuck are you doing?"
It was during the coronavirus pandemic, and I wasn't unsure if your dad wanted a handshake, and I wasn't sure if your dad wanted to actually.
My dad looked at me after he left. He's like, "That kid was fucking weird." I was like, "Yeah, I know he is, but that's okay."
It's not like I'm weird. Is that because I thought his dad was concerned about getting germs? I didn't want it to give him. I didn't want it to give him germs. That's why I did the hand bump. And I always ask Tyler, and he can attest to this. Does your dad still think I'm weird? And
he does this all the time, and I'm like, oh yeah, he thinks you're so weird.
And I wish I can actually have a conversation, maybe sit down one of these days and actually tell maybe we hang out and tell them I'm not weird. Because it's not like I'm a weird.
Don't tell anyone you're not weird, because then they're definitely going to think you're weird.
No, I would attest to this. I'm fucking weird. There's a lot of weird things that I do, and the mannerisms and and the way I act that makes me weird. I'm a little socially awkward, and I've been like that ever since I was a kid. I wouldn't talk to that many people. Sometimes I get bullied, but I would use that as an excuse to not make any friends, because when I first moved here, I didn't have any friends. I was all by myself. It's not until I started working at Giants when I made connections and I met Pete and I met Tyler, my friend Peter. I met Tyler, and meeting Tyler, we first started talking about our YouTube channel way before we even launched the channel, man. We
talked about YouTube and stuff like that way before when you were bagging for me and stuff like that. Yes,
I was the bagging before I even became a bagger. Remember, I sliced my finger on a deli slicer.
Yeah, good job, buddy. Good freaking job.
And they pushed me outside to bag groceries, and they pushed me to push carts. But if it wasn't for that situation, I would have never met Tyler. I attribute everything I have to the stuff that I do.
Yeah, he's all right.
But yeah, if I didn't meet Tyler, if I didn't work at Deli, I would have never met my friends, and like I would have never come out of my shell and become the person I am today.
Yeah.
And
It's kind of helping shape you
yeah,
in a way.
because with this podcast, I wanted to like, I didn't want it just to be a podcast where we joke around. I wanted to be a podcast where we can tell people how we feel and like how we feel in our like daily life and like what's going on in the world. And that's when we first launched. When we first launched the podcast, it was all sorts of confusing. Like you can talk about. I want you to talk about
you
the first
could
episode.
not at all understand what happened. Also, I think
We made
there was something really bad that was talked about in that very first podcast too. Some very bad hypothetical situations that we will not speak of.
see. I like your cousin Gio's funny as hell. He was actually probably the best part about any of our sketches. But here's the thing: those sketches don't translate to a podcast where many of people are listening and they hear it and they hear these hypotheticals.
I honestly think we should just delete that first one, to be honest.
Because, yeah, I don't even want to delete the first one. It's going to be a pain.
I don't want to, but I think we should.
Yeah, but that first one has a lot of views on it on Anchor and Spotify. If I delete it, then there will be no point. Yeah, we're going to leave that first one, but because
what if we grow, though, and people look back on that?
I think it keeps us humble, but I doubt anybody really cares because we even said it on our description. They're all hypotheticals.
Yeah, but it was really bad.
It was our first episode, which we're actually going to keep up because in the description there was some jokes by.
They're very harsh, not for the.
I mean, there were hypotheticals and they were funny at the time.
They're not for people who would
associate. We don't really associate with half. I don't even think they were bad. Why are we making them think like they're bad? Because
I thought it was pretty bad, personally.
They were bad. They were just hypotheticals of like, we don't even want to say it on here because we don't want this video to be removed. But yeah, they were just bad.
They were just bad. Let's just leave it to that. All right. What else did we want to talk about? Oh, my other channel that I made.
Yes.
So at this point, I think this is probably my third channel that I've made. So at this point, I've had my gaming channel, and then there's one that you guys probably would have never guessed. I started a channel that only lasted for like 4 or 5 videos of me working on a motorcycle.
Sort of like our videos. Our channel lasted for...
No, that was a good, 10, 15 videos at least.
15? Jesus, man.
I think, maybe.
That clown video still fucking is terrible.
That clown video is terrible. But, I started up a channel that was Legendary Motor Transformations. That's what I think I called it. I think. Yeah. LMT. Yeah. Legendary Motor Transformations. That was the name of the channel. And, I had a good time doing it, but...
I can say you probably had a good time doing it.
But that was when I actually had the time to do it.
Yes.
And I actually took my medicine so that I could stay focused.
Yes.
And I don't do either of those right now.
Yeah. I used to... Not to say... Because to bring up what Tyler said about when I was a kid, I used to take medicine for my I'm gonna get personal because
ADHD.
I have ADHD and I also have dyslexia where I will mix words and I'll spell words wrong. And Tyler can attest to this.
Yeah, I correct his spelling all the time.
I have dyslexia where I'll just mix words around, and dyslexia is a challenge, especially for me where my main job on YouTube now is to write scripts and read, and I'm overcoming my ability to read. I'm learning how to read scripts and that, but my dyslexia gets in the way of certain things that I can do, and it sort of limits the ability that I can do. I have trouble spelling words. Everybody knows this. Everybody who knows. I remember auditioning for a spelling bee when I was a kid, and I would try to spell maybe a 4-letter word, and I'll always spell it wrong. There's no telling I'll always spell it wrong because I have trouble. I mix words a lot in my head.
Yeah.
But, yeah. I have trouble even saying certain words because I I have trouble saying certain words because that's just how I am. I think it's primarily because I have like a weird lisp, and I think that's due to the fact that I have a missing tooth. I don't know if a tooth can cause a lisp or not, but it's just what it is. But I used to take pills for my dyslexia, for my ADHD, and
ADHD medication is not all it's made out to be.
No.
Yes, it helps you focus a lot, but
Yeah.
it fucks up your personality.
The reason I find Tyler to be like my friend is because he's gone through the same struggles I have. I used to take ADHD medication since I was 10. And the reason why I never really made friends back when I was in school, I made a few friends, but what ADHD medication does is if your personality is sort of energetic, it's sort of like
dulls it down.
It sort of dulls it down. It's sort of like what's that pill that like helps you focus a lot? Like college kids take it. I don't know what it's called.
What's it called?
It's a
Adderall.
Adderall. It's sort of like Adderall. It sort of has the same effect as Adderall. While Adderall
helps you focus, but it also like
what ADHD medication did was it muted my personality.
I feel that so hard.
It dormanted my like my ability to like talk to people. It sort of dormanted my ability to like make friends in school.
I become more of an asshole when I take my medication.
Yeah. I remember taking my medication back in school, and I'm like wondering why I'm falling asleep, and like I would wake up maybe midway, and like once the medication wore off, I knew when the medication wore off.
Oh, you can tell.
My energy would just skyrocket back.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and I was forced to take this.
I like being high energy. Don't get me wrong, but
I was forced to take these pills because I wasn't able to concentrate in class.
Now, I will admit, for school, it is a great tool to use.
No, it is.
It's if you're diagnosed with ADHD, by all means, use your medication. I'm just saying, from my own experience, I'm not happy with it, and I do not want to stay on it for the rest of my life.
Try taking ADHD medication while at the same time having dyslexia and focusing in class.
If you are medically prescribed.
Yes, because I was medically prescribed. I remember one time the guy was like, "How about we up your dosage?" And I'm like, I can't even focus. I can't even talk half the time if I take these pills. I'm like, at the age of 15, I just stopped taking them.
I have to go in because I haven't taken my medication all summer. Normally I do take it during the summer, but this summer I haven't had to because I have to take it during the morning.
No.
And not the day, and not during the midday, and I wake up in like the freaking afternoon because I close at work. So I don't take my medication throughout the whole summer, and now at this point, I don't have those tolerances anymore, and I tried taking it once, and I felt like I had difficulty breathing and stuff like that. So
yes.
I need to go back to the doctor. I already set up an appointment. I have to get that readjusted.
Yeah. If any of you, because we're trying to make our podcast personable, we're gonna joke around a lot and all that. But we're making our podcast more relatable to people, and we want to talk more about our lives. But yes, me and Tyler, we both sort of have struggles, and we both. I like to tell more about my life story in this podcast, but we don't. Eventually, we're gonna get to all that. But yeah, ADHD, dyslexia, the way I was in the way I was in middle school, from like high school is way different from when I am now. When I was back in school, I was always this kid that was always shy. I maybe have like one friend that I hang out with.
I didn't really have any friends in elementary school at all. It was when I got to middle school that I started making somewhat friends.
Yeah, maybe
I had one friend that is no longer my friend anymore. Because of things that happened. You did everything.
Oh God!
It's all your fault, Jose. No, this goes back to my girlfriend's story that I told in my the first time we did stories. As to why he's not my friend anymore, but
no, you can explain, dude. By all means.
Well, when with the first girlfriend that I had, and I honestly, at this point, I don't even really count it as a relationship, to be honest.
No,
it happened before high school, so anything before high school doesn't really count.
I don't see that counting at all, but
at the same time, it was like, it was a moment for me. So me and this girl, we lived like pretty close by. So we were going out and we were doing things. We were hanging out outside of school and stuff like that. And my friend lived literally right next to me on the same street and everything. And so what happened was, the one day she broke up with me over text of all things. She's like, I don't think that I want to be together anymore. Blah 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 blah.
She broke up
Okay.
with you in a text?
Yeah.
Oh my god. I hate when girls do that shit. I have been in 3 relationships and one of them ended with a text and I'm still pissed about
Well,
it.
a few days later, her and my best friend are going out with each other. And I'm like, you fucking what?
Yeah. Oh my god, bro. And like what happened? Like how did I like
I felt betrayed, obviously. And then I was like, you know what? He was an ass. So I was like, you know what? It's probably better not to be with him anymore anyways. So I just like stopped talking to him and we never hung out anymore after that.
see there wow, dude, cuz I remember back when I was like in high school. It wasn't until like the 11th grade or it wasn't until like I was a senior where I like started like growing into my body because when I look at pictures of myself really young, and I don't know if I don't know, I post everything on Facebook. When I look at pictures when I'm really young, I look like I'm dying inside. I look incredibly skinny. Like, you think I'm skinny now? Pictures back then, I look like I'm a skeleton. And I look like my life.
Damn.
I look like my face is
You
drained.
could see my ribs when I was a little kid.
Yeah.
All the time.
It wasn't until like the senior year where I grew into my body and like I had like shoulders and like I had some girl. I was doing theater. I was doing improv back in high school. Like we were performing theater for the show, and I had like a group of people, and there was this one girl in this class. And theater and improv is the reason why we sort of launched the sketch channel, and we did it.
I've never done either.
Yeah, but that's why I'm able to like do voice and stuff because of that improv class. But there was this one girl who liked me, and she was dating this other guy in the class, and like we had like a sort of like a relationships thing, and I'm like, I have trouble with like relationships with like girls because back when I was in kindergarten or like pre or 3rd grade or whatever, I told this one girl I told the popular girl that I had a crush on her, and she pushed me onto the floor and like she spit on me and said, "There will be no other girl that would ever like you. I don't like you. Leave me alone." And then that would just
Kindergarten?
it might have been in 3rd grade.
3rd grade?
Yeah, I was really weird.
That still affects you now?
It like affected me all the way to senior year where I couldn't even talk to a girl where I'm like I was super nervous. The only girls I can talk to are the girls in my class.
Ugh.
Everything else besides that, I would just go mute. A girl will talk to me and I don't know her. I just stay silent. I had a crush on a girl who was in my improv class back when I was a senior, and I was like thriving. Like my personality was like booming. I came into myself. The thing is with her, I didn't feel like it was a relationship because she liked me, and for some reason, I told myself, "You're a senior. You're not. It's not gonna last. You don't have." I try my best to stay interested, and I'm like, I can't. And I would always just ditch out on her, and I would always just hang out with my friends because that wasn't a real relationship. She liked me too much, and I got scared of it because it always just bring me back to 3rd grade. I'm like, why do I deserve her? Like I don't have.
It's interesting to think of how that still affected you. From like that long ago when obviously you're kids and you're just stupid and you're just saying things just to say things because that's how kids are.
No, but here's the thing.
But-
It's not like I approached her because what happened was my friend, I told him I had a crush on a girl, and him being an asshole in 3rd
Told
grade,
her.
he told her for me. And he was actually a kid. He actually dated her. And she was really beautiful. And
Did
then
they really date though? It was 3rd grade.
they dated.
It's 3rd grade. So
Yeah, I don't know if it was date, but he told her, and then he said, "Oh, she wants to date you." And being the asshole he is, as soon as I go up to her, She says, "Look, you're ugly. I don't like you. You're weird. You're stupid." She pushed me on the floor, spit on me, and said there would be no other girl that would like you because you're a weirdo. And she and that would affect me all the way till senior year, when I got the courage to like go after this girl that liked me, that I for some reason just never really felt like I was into her.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I've had other relationships when I was in PA. I had my friend set me up with the girl that just didn't work out. But hey, I'm on Tinder. I'm like exploring my options and all that.
Tinder, Bumble, you know, the things.
So it's not like I'm like blaming my past for who I am now, but like I always go back to that day where I was being pushed, and like it's a horrible day. 'Cause I don't know if you had an experience with a girl like that ever.
I have never, listen, I have always had a hard time stepping up and being like, hey, I like you or whatever like that. Like that's always been the thing that I've had a hard time doing. I've never really gone out of my way to do that. I mean, even with my first girlfriend, she was like, hey, I really like you. I was like, alright.
See, when a girl says that they really like you, I always get scared because I'm like, why? Because there's never a definite reason why they like you. It's always.
I mean, she pretty much asked me out at that point. She was like, maybe we could go see a movie at some point. I was like, alright.
Yeah.
Cool.
See, I did. Yeah, that's how it is. But I don't know if you had the same thing in your head, like, why does she like me? Why am I with her? Like, what? Like, for some reason, it's hard for me to be in a relationship sometimes because I always keep thinking back to that day in school, and I'm like, why? I'm like, why does she just like bully? Why does she just not push me on the floor and say you're a weirdo?
I don't know. I mean, that's kids though.
But I'm different from when I was a kid back then. Even when I was a kid, I knew I was weird. But that's because I was hopped up on those fucking meds. Bro, I'm like, because with those pills, like, you'll be tired and for like maybe an hour or two, and once the energy comes back, you're like, you get this sudden burst of energy for some reason, and you're like all over the place. And I'm like, that's the worst part about these ADHD meds, is that they'll make you feel calm, and like once it wears off, like a sudden boost of testosterone and energy just like goes over your entire body. And
I don't think it's anything to do with testosterone. Yes, energy is very.
It boosts, like once it wears off and you don't feel tired anymore. Energy comes back, and it's so fucking weird.
That is correct.
Yeah, it's so bizarre. And I don't know if you have any like experiences back when you were in school where you like you had trouble with teachers or like homework or any of that. I talk about you in school.
I never really studied when I was in school.
No, I never really studied either.
I never needed to study. Like, I got through school with a 3.36 GPA.
Same. And I wasn't even that smart. By the way, I'm going to be honest, and you might call me retarded, but I was in special ed. Primarily because I wasn't able to focus, or ADHD and all that.
It was never that bad.
Yeah, no.
Like, I mean, there was times that I couldn't focus, and there was times you could say, okay, that kid definitely didn't take his medication.
I think Tyler, I don't know if Tyler is, the reason I like sort of Tyler is my friend is because he's smarter than me. He's way smarter than me, and I would
listen. I'm in college, yes, but that doesn't mean I'm that smart.
There's some things I know about, like, computer. I know a lot about computers. I know about all this, but
I know how an engine works, and this kid doesn't.
There's some things Tyler knows that I don't know, and I contribute that he's smarter than me. I'm sort of amazed how smart Tyler is than me sometimes, because he's fucking smart, and like
sometimes when I want to be.
I only did 3 semesters of college before I had to move to PA. Actually,
I'm on semester 7.
Yeah, but before I even moved to PA, like I was in college, and most of my friends were girls. I never had like one guy friend. And I don't know, and I found that very weird.
That's weird. That is really weird.
No, because one of the girls...
I know you say you find that weird, but it's genuinely weird.
I was more able to talk to the girls rather than the guys. It's because I always...
So you were more able to talk to girls, but you couldn't get a girlfriend.
Oh, the girl that I was talking to, the girls that I was talking around, they said I was cute, but they had boyfriends. So that was like
Your friend zone.
sort of friend zone, but they liked
Friend
me.
zone.
There will be times where I'm like wondering, do they
You're
like?
cute. That's friend zone. I'm sorry, that's friend zone.
I'm still friends with them because I like them. They're. I like maybe.
Any girl that calls you cute, other than like, oh, you're cute, you want to go out?
No,
blah, blah,
they
blah.
said I was cute and like I'm funny. Like I had a reasonable person. I had a good personality. I'm like, no, I wasn't smart in class in college. I'm surprised that I even moved to Pennsylvania. I'm like, I don't think I could do college at all. I was gonna get a job at GameStop. GameStop of all places. GameStop, the shittiest place to buy games at. I don't even know if you can shop at GameStop. Do you shop at GameStop?
No.
I was gonna get a job at GameStop when I was in college after I was gonna drop out, and like my mom said, "Hey, I'm leaving your dad." Where my mom wasn't with my dad, and we're moving to Pennsylvania with my new stepdad, who was really cool. Then everything unfolded, and then bam.
Yeah, they're pretty cool.
Yeah,
I've met them quite a few times at the store.
and they're pretty cool. But yeah, I contribute everything I learned from school to college to my friends to what we have now, and that's what we have is this awesome podcast.
Yeah.
That for some reason the first episode Tyler wants me to delete, but I'm not deleting it because fuck it, we worked hard on that one. I worked hard on editing that one, and I'm not gonna delete that first episode.
I hate you.
I can delete. I just don't.
No, it was just toward the end. It just got out of hand. It was chaotic and it was bad.
Not to say that when we first did our 2 episodes of our podcast, they were like over Discords and like.
Oh, that was the worst idea ever.
You think the first episode was bad? The second episode was worse than the fucking first one. Because
yeah.
I even want to talk about this because more about the second episode. So, actually, you want to talk and then I'll finish?
Yeah, you decided to try and use a different software for that?
No, that was the one that was deleted. We're talking about the one with
that's the third
Geo.
one.
Yeah, we're talking about the one with Geo and Lee and how.
Oh, yeah.
I hate that episode so much.
One of our members wasn't even... They were in the car the whole time.
And it's not. There's no problem with recording in the car. The car was moving. The fact is, she wasn't even focused on the podcast. Why be on a podcast and like talk if you're not even gonna say anything? And she was silent the entire time. Gio, he participated, but here's the thing: we after that day, we decided
It's hard to get a spot that's quiet.
yes.
That's the biggest part. The audio was crap because it was very hard for him to find a spot that was
And
quiet.
if you're gonna do a podcast, do it where people are there, and they do not do it over. Maybe Zoom. Zoom is probably like I've seen like YouTubers do a podcast over Zoom. That works, but the thing is, I want to do a podcast where you can see the person talking to you, and I hope this podcast evolves so that where we get where we can get a table, we can get some mics, and we can get people, and we can interview people and talk about what they do in their lives. Because that's what I want this podcast to be. I don't want this podcast to devolve into hypotheticals about retarded crap that don't mean anything. And I certainly don't want a podcast where like the guests aren't focused on the podcast itself. Because that's what the third episode of this podcast was. You can listen to it. It's up, and it's not. And I'm not gonna say it was a good podcast. It was okay.
It was terrible.
It was terrible.
It was terrible.
And I like the people.
It wasn't even okay. It was just terrible.
I like the people, and I like the people on the. And I like
I guess that's part of our past, right?
part of our
It
past.
happened, and it's just gonna stay there.
With our podcast, we're gonna evolve it. We're gonna hope whenever we can get money. Like we already have tables here. We can do a podcast. Want to tell them where we are? Actually,
We're in my basement.
we want to. If your parents would allow us, I want to turn the basement into a podcast.
Oh no, we're not gonna do anything with the basement.
No.
We're just gonna keep it the way it is.
Yeah, we want to just maybe like get some mics and we like sit on the couch and like just talk and like we want to have like guests. We want people to like we can interview here because
Yeah.
we want this podcast to just be about personally about what we do and like how our days are and if well whatever because we weren't personal enough. We were being incredibly personal. We're not hiding behind like some wall of like we're not. I don't even think I'm cool. I know Tyler doesn't think he's cool.
No, I'm lame.
Yeah, maybe I.
No. Get this. I am the coolest person in the world.
You say you can't even. I like how you can say that, but you can't say it with a fucking straight face. Imagine trying to say that with a straight face. Somebody, hey, yo, I'm the coolest person in the world, and then try them
Try and keep that straight face.
and then try them laughing. They'll bust out laughing. They're like, really, you're cool.
Oh, really?
Coming from the guy.
The coolest person in the
Really?
world would never say that.
The coolest person in the world wouldn't sound like Squidward.
A conceited bastard.
Yeah. Oh my god.
Oh,
Yeah. I love this podcast, bro.
oh, it's so fun.
Yeah. At first, this podcast is gonna be on the camera, and
We were gonna do a video podcast,
And I
and then we were
told
like,
Tyler- I told Tyler, bro, I don't want a goddamn fiasco like we did on that fucking spit take episode. I don't want the camera to be.
Gosh.
Before we even came to this basement, I told Tyler, the reason we're not doing a video podcast is because we're going to focus so much on the video aspect of the podcast that I'm going to have to edit the video part, and I don't want to have to deal with that. And I certainly don't want to have to focus on a camera the entire time. If we're ever going to do a video podcast, we need a cameraman, and I don't want to be that cameraman. We need a cameraman, and we need a crew. We're doing the audio podcast because it's easier. And I'm sort of, and this might be like me saying that, but I'm sort of basing this podcast off. I don't know if any of you know who Pan Pizza is or Rebel Taxi is, but he's sort of a commentary animated YouTuber who does a podcast called Pan Pizza Podcast with his friends. So I sort of want to do something like that, where it's just people talking about video games and stuff about their lives, something like that. So that's why the animated portion of the video you're seeing on the YouTube screen is like that. I made those designs for our characters, and yes, Tyler Sword doesn't look like that. He does not have fluffy black hair. His hair doesn't floof in the...
No, my hair isn't like anime hair that just stands with gravity defying.
I think the only closest thing to that character is probably mine, because I do sort of have an afro, but I look nothing like that. But that's the point of making...
That's the point of a cartoon. It doesn't actually look like you.
No, it doesn't. Now,
it might look similar, but it doesn't look like
no. And yeah, that's pretty much how it is.
Yeah, surprisingly, I have a beard, guys.
I can't animate a beard. I'm a shitty fucking animator. I cannot draw. Okay, I draw on my... Yeah. We're gonna end the podcast?
No, I was just saying you were talking really low there.
No, I'm gonna amplify and auto gain all this audio so it picks up. But yeah, no. What I draw in a different style from the rest of the animators I know. I usually draw with like a tablet, or I'll draw with shapes, and I'll like attach things to the shapes, and I'll make eyes and stuff like that. I use my style of animation, and I don't know if this is an actual animation style for my videos, is a PNG stilt animation, where I create a PNG and I like move it based on how I feel or my emotions. And that's pretty much how it is. And I'm including, actually, we should probably promote our video for next week. Want to do that? Jack and Jill video?
Oh, yeah.
So next week, Wednesday, because I'm already done with the script, it's a matter of just voicing it. So next
I already
week,
voiced my part.
He already voiced his part. And with his voice part, which I like when people participate in my videos, because I can just build off their voice. I can just build off what they say and make their points and amplify the points for them. So our next video is going to be a Jack and Jill review/rant, and it's not a breakdown of the entire movie. No, it's
just a review on how bad of a movie
it's a
was.
review on how bad the movie is, and I want to talk a little bit about the movie, because
don't get me wrong, I love Adam Sandler, but it was bad.
I had to watch the movie, and I watched it 2 times. Not even, I watched it 1 time. I tried watching it a second time because I'm like, maybe I missed something, and I'm like, no, what is there to miss? I'm like, everything is in the first part of the movie. The movie is shoved with product placement. The products are all over. There's Pepto-Bismol, Diet Coke.
Hey, save that for the video, buddy.
Well, I'm building a pipe. But yeah, no, we're gonna.
Yeah,
I want to talk a little bit about the video. But yeah, there's product placements throughout the entire movie. There's a Royal Caribbean product placement that's like in front of your face. They go on a Royal Caribbean cruise. I don't know if you've seen this part of the movie. But they advertise Royal Caribbean Cruise, and the guy is like, "Welcome to the Royal Caribbean Cruise," and like I feel like Adam Sandler used that to take a vacation because why make a movie where it's centered around a cruise if you're going to take a vacation?
Why not?
Because what Adam Sandler does, what he used to do is like he'll make a movie, but he'll use that as an excuse to write off a vacation for him and his friends and family.
Because why not?
Because why not? But I do bring up, it's not like the review is going to be bashing Adam Sandler like in the head. No. I love Adam
Sandler's a great guy.
Adam Sandler's a great guy. And I like that he makes movies that not a lot of people like. Because the point about making a movie is that you make a movie to have fun. You don't make it to please other people. Because, and I'm going to bring this back with our videos, we made those videos to please other people. We didn't make the video. When we watch the videos back, we don't like them as much as other people like them. And Tyler would attest to this. Other people will watch our videos and be like, "Oh man, that was an amazing video." And I'm like,
"Oh man, that was a trash video."
Maybe somebody will say it's a trash video, but like, I'm sure you had comments where people say, "Oh," like people watch your videos like, "Oh man, those were some amazing videos that you guys produced. How did you make it?" I don't know if people ever told you that. Remember the Taco Wednesday one, or like people?
My grandma talked to me about him before. That was about it.
Like, we want to talk a little about your uncle, man. We didn't even get to that.
Oh my gosh, we don't even want to talk about my uncle.
We're gonna talk about your uncle because we want to end this podcast with a little like a story before we go. So we want to before we go, let's just talk about your uncle because I try to make it a segue to it.
Okay, so I'm not going to say the name of the business nor the name of my uncle for anonymity's sake.
We'll be done by 12:20.
Okay? So, pretty much, my uncle came back from, so what was it? I think it was like a 9-10 year hiatus that we never talked to him, never saw him, he never communicated with us.
Apparently he saw
whatever. So he came over to our house the one day, and he's like, him and my mom are talking, and they're talking about making a water feature in the back of our yard.
Oh, they're gonna talk about he wanted to do a commercial or whatever.
Oh, that too. I had my cousin over, and he's like, "Bro, all right, listen. So I have an idea. I know this is right down your alley. You guys are trying to do the same thing. I want to get 1 million views."
One thing is that I don't know what he thought, what kind of same thing. I don't know what he thought our channel was, but what we're doing, we were doing the videos for fun. What he took that as is, you want 1 million views, we're going to get 1 million views. I'm a shitty editor. And when I make a live video of anything, it will come out as shit. When I make an animated video, it comes out perfect. What his uncle wanted me to do was edit an entire commercial. And even I know I can't even make a goddamn commercial, man.
Yeah, no, that was ridiculous. I just want to say. God. And I hope he's listening to this right now because
it's on our official YouTube channel that people still are subscribed to.
He's subscribed to our channel.
Well, he can listen to this because I'm not making a commercial.
So, okay, not only this. So he comes over and they're talking about making a water feature at the house, okay? Well, he's like, "Oh yeah, it'll take like a week to do." And
Not take a fucking week.
It'll take a week, and all you guys got to do is pay like maybe $1,000, and we'll get it. We'll get it for you. It's just materials. Well, let's see. $2,000 later, and 3 weeks later, it's still not done.
I've seen it in the backyard. It's like...
It's a wreck. It's a train wreck out there.
It's a wreck. It looks nice. I'm not going to lie.
It looks like it'll come out nice when it's done.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. So him and my mom got into a really bad argument the other night. Well, last week. And it was about how my brother went out there to offer help to him. And he completely ignored my brother. Like, everything he said, he didn't acknowledge him at all. Well, he came back in, and Mom came home and asked him why the heck he was ignoring my brother, because we're in our own house. You shouldn't be doing that. Well, he's like, I didn't ignore him. He never came out. Blah 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 blah. And he started going off. And he did this before, where he was screaming at my mom. And like, I got home from work that day, and Mason told me about that, and I wanted to punch him in the face.
No, and I remember Tyler telling me this, like, not so, like, maybe a day or two after that, and I'm like, dude, that fucking sucks. But then Tyler was like, you know what? I'll save it for the podcast, and I'll tell you on the podcast. I'm like, because that's a fucking shitty thing. Like, he, like, cursed at your mom and all that.
Yeah, he cursed at my mom and told her, you're not the construction worker here. Why are you always, why are you always questioning everything that I have? Why can't you just do what I tell you to do?
Now, I have arguments with my mom, and yeah, there are some days where we have beef. But here's the thing: when another family member that like or
he's
stranger,
been out of our lives for 9 years.
Yeah,
by the ways.
Exactly. My real dad is sort of like that. Like he will try to step into our lives, and he will try to get to know us a little more, but he doesn't do it because he doesn't care. But here's the thing. It sucks, bro, because when Tyler told me this, I'm like, dude, I can sort of like relate to that on like a personal level, and I wanted Tyler to save that story for the podcast because it's.
Well, I don't know, even complete. It's not, the freaking waterfall out there. It's not done.
It's not complete.
And not to mention that same day that happened, he up and left to California. He left.
It's not even. Wow.
And he's not finishing it.
See,
he's not gonna finish it.
If you're gonna start something, finish it. Why? If you're gonna start,
he's like, yeah, this will be her birthday present. My mom's birthday's already passed by like a week and a half now. At this point,
it's not even a good. I'm not gonna say the waterfall's not bad, but it's not a good birthday present to up and leave and like have an argument.
No, it's terrible. And now we're gonna probably have to spend another few $1,000s to get it completed because now it's already underway.
And why is he even? And I'm not trying to say, but the fact that he is subscribed to this podcast or this channel,
I hope you're listening to this.
Yes,
because I'm pissed at you.
For real, bro. It's ridiculous, man. Like, you left up and left. The waterfall's not done. Like, if you're gonna finish something, finish it, man. And I don't know you personally, but I'm gonna be honest, bro. I ain't doing no goddamn commercial, man. And it's fucked up what Tyler has to deal with, bro. And like, we were gonna start this long ago, but I think how long did it take to make that waterfall?
It's still not done after 3 weeks worth of work.
No, we were gonna start this podcast way before then.
Before then.
As soon as
there was other reasons why we couldn't start the podcast.
Yeah,
but these past like 3-4 weeks have been because of that.
Yes. So we're constantly gonna, for those of you who don't know, because we're not gonna like hide behind like what we do with this podcast is that we're actually gonna make 2 podcasts every other day, and then we're gonna release them one at a time because I have videos to edit, so me and Tyler are gonna meet every other Thursday. So that way,
we film 2 parts in one day.
Yeah, and those will be separate episodes, so that way we can get them out because we're gonna meet every other Thursday to do this podcast. That way we have more stories to build up to. And I'm pretty sure Tyler has a crazy life, so he'll come up with stories. I still have more stories.
I still haven't told the Omega Karen story, but that'll have to wait till next time.
That's gonna have to wait until next week because I don't know if you know this. Tyler has class.
I have class at 1 o'clock and it's 12:15, and I gotta get him home. So,
and I have work at 10:30, and I have to edit this, and I have to voice my script. So, we're gonna leave it off here. So, I hope you guys enjoyed this podcast. My name is Ramen, and this is my buddy TY, and we will see you next week. We're gonna release these episodes every
week. We're just recording every other.
Yeah, we're gonna record every other week. We're gonna be consistent with this because it's actually podcast is easier for Tyler and me to do.
Yeah.
So we will see you another time. Again, my name is Ramen, TY, and with that being said, you guys have a good night and a good morning.
Peace out.
So.